Okay, third topic out of 4. We get something very interesting here. I mean, I'm sure you all heard and seen this Metatron's cube, the symbol.
Yeah.
Metatron is celebrated as the blueprint of creation, right? Is the single geometric figure from which, first of all the Platonic solids that are known, like the tetrahedron, the cube, dodecahedron, which Plato said was producing the universe, the icosahedron. So all these 5 Platonic solids essentially are contained in that structure. And it's interesting because what we're looking at here is a 2-dimensional structure, right? It's a flat surface.
Yeah.
But if you look at the lines, you can recreate a 3-dimensional visualization of these 5 Platonic solids. So it's very interesting. So we go from a 2-dimensional picture that reveals a 3-dimensional structures, tetrahedron, and as I said, cube, and so on. So again, Metatron's cube is really unique. It also contains the famous vector equilibrium that was revealed by Buckminster Fuller, which is very known.
Yeah.
It's essentially that figure of sacred geometry that encodes the architecture of the universe itself. Now, one thing about the sacred geometry is that we see these figures, we see these signs, but we could never connect it to our actual quantum physics or physics, right? It's like we had this disconnect, right? We've not been able to break through it. And I think I've broken at least part of the code here. So if we look at the Metatron's cube, so I essentially just applied the very same principle we've been talking about for a few years now. So if we look to the left side, right, the Metatron's cube contains 13 spheres, right? We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 spheres.
Yeah.
So essentially, I represented these spheres here. We see them, they all lined up. There are 13 spheres here. So, and I essentially just charged them with the energy of 1 over golden ratio, right? Because we know, as I showed here, the division of the unity or the division of source creation, we see at the bottom right here, right? The division of the unity over golden ratio is essentially the division of source creation, right? Through the golden ratio principle. And that's how I could explain the dark matter, physical, regular matter and dark energy, the expansion of the universe. So this very basic principle of the division of source creation, essentially. So I charge or infuse that energy, I'm going back here, into each of these spheres, like 13 spheres containing that energy, right? And then scaled up by harmonic 142, which we see always. And we end up with that energy equivalent to 347.088.
Okay.
Now, that's interesting because if we have a sphere that has a volume energy equivalent to that number, 347.88, the diameter of that sphere, Grant, will be matching exactly 1 Planck length. And 1 Planck length is the fundamental of quantum physics, right? The Planck length is the fundamental or the smallest oscillation of energy that can exist at the quantum scale. So it's fascinating because these 13 spheres from the Metatron's cube, now we essentially turn this sacred geometry into quantum physics, right? We create that connections to our quantum physics to the Planck length. And moreover, and that's just one aspect of it, if we convert that energy into matter, right, using E equal mc squared, right, on top here, we know that Einstein came up with that formula, E equal mc squared, which is the equivalency between energy and matter. So if we take that number, E equal mc squared, and I actually could do that on the screen if I can find my calculator. I want to show you that I'm not making these numbers random here, so let's do it. So we're going to take 347.088, the energy, right, coming from these 13 spheres of Metatron's cube. And this is the energy, right? So if we want to calculate the matter equivalent, the amount of mass, we divide by c squared, which is the speed of light squared. In our case, it's 1 harmonic 432 squared. Oh, let me go back here because I did divided by harmonic 144, the speed of light harmonic squared I've been talking about for a long time. We get exactly 16738.421. This is the number in blue here, we see, 1.6738421. Well, amazingly, that mass, if you compare to the red number, The red number is the average mass of the subatomic particles making up the material world we live in. So if you look in the physics books in science, the average mass of the proton and neutron, essentially making up our periodic table of elements, the average mass is 1.6737747. So look, compared to these two numbers,
Wow.
the match is 99.995% match. This is stunning.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
this is the solution. This is what I'm proposing as a solution, showing essentially the connection between this famous Metatron's cube, which is said to be the blueprint of creation. But when we use the geometric harmonics physics framework I've been developing since 2021 and apply these basic principles using general relativity and so on, we can calculate the matter or the mass equivalent to these 13 spheres, and we get essentially the average mass of the subatomic particles making up our material world.
Unbelievable.
In the match, again, at 99.995%. This is stunning. In addition, and we can go even further, and this is to me like so mind-blowing to even look at. Now, if we take that volume energy of 347.088 and we scale it up by one golden ratio, essentially we multiply it by one golden ratio, and I'm going to do it on the screen because it's really simple, right? So let me take the calculator here. Okay, so let's take that number again, 347.088 times one golden ratio, 1.618, right? I'm going to add some decimal. We get 561.6, right? You see that number, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is the number I'm showing up here. Well, it just happens to be that if you look in the science books, go on ChatGPT and ask the best estimated volume of our universe in cubic nautical miles, you're going to get 561.4. So we have a match with the volume for universe at 99.96%.
Wow.
So the Metatron's cube, in other words, the Metatron's cube seems to be encoding the physical reality we live in, the mass of matter, right? The subatomic particles that makes up some material world. And you scale it up by one golden ratio when you get the volume of our universe.
Yeah.
So this is the solution. Yeah, this is the solution I'm proposing, essentially to connect the sacred geometry Metatrons to our material reality and even our universe we live in.